In 2008, News Center Maine got the chance to speak with Barbara Walters. She had just released a book called Audition. The memoir takes its name from how Walters said she often felt like she was auditioning for something.
When Rob Caldwell got to talk with her, he latched onto a neat piece of trivia from her childhood.
One of your childhood friends was the daughter of Larry Fine, Larry of the Three Stooges.
My goodness, you did read the book, yes, in Florida. Phyllis Fine, her name was. She was my girlfriend, yes. Yeah.
What was it like did you ever see Larry himself?
Kiss me, my Caliban.
Well, he was away a great deal. But this was during a time when I lived in a place called Palm Island between Miami and Miami Beach. My father had been a big success in Boston. I was born and grew up in Boston. And he opened a nightclub called the Latin Quarter, Lou Walters Latin Quarter. It was very famous. And then he opened another one in Florida and then one in New York. And I was very young then. And I used to sit in the lighting booth of the one in Florida. And I could do everybody's act. 2 glasses of wine and I'll do Milton Berle for you. And Phyllis Fine had a kind of life like mine that was sort of isolated. Her father was away a great deal. There were the ups and downs of show business, and she and I were very good friends. I don't think I ever met her father. I'm not sure she ever met mine. But because our lives were similar, these 2 little girls with the supposedly glamorous life, feeling rather lonely and rather isolated, I haven't heard from her. It'd be wonderful to know that she'd read the book. I hope that she's still around.
You had a lot of ups and downs in your life as a child and then as a teenager and then as a young person in your 20s and 30s, in large part because of your family. You did not lead a Norman Rockwell kind of childhood.
No.
And that has shaped you to this day, hasn't it?
Yes. The book is called Audition because I felt I was auditioning my whole life, almost until now. Although this book, I guess, is an audition too, isn't it? I had a sister when I was growing up in Brookline, Massachusetts, who was called mentally retarded. People made fun of her. They made fun of me. And I felt love for her and great resentment and a lot of guilt. And I think people can relate to that. And she was the most important figure in my life because of these feelings and because I knew I would have the responsibility for her. And then my father, who had made and lost fortunes and had a kind of sad experience after we'd had 20 years of living in penthouses, gave to me, I guess, a fear that it could all be gone tomorrow, that everything could be taken away.
Is that why you have, throughout your professional career, been so driven, is because you worried that you were going to lose it all, and you also had the responsibility for much of your adult life of supporting your parents and your sister?
I don't know. I have written that when my father lost everything, I don't know whether that's where the drive came from and the ambition. I don't know where it comes from in people. I do know that I had to work. I do know that I had to put up with the jobs I didn't like or with some of the people in the business who didn't like me. Maybe that perseverance, maybe that knowledge that I had to support my mother, my father, my sister, and at that point my child. But I sort of think it's something beyond that, and I don't think we can isolate where drive comes from. Is it insecurity? Oh, we're all insecure, you know. But I do know that I had to stay with it. And I had to, even when I was failing, keep going. And I think a lot of people today can relate to that. I think it's one of the reasons that the book has taken off. It's not, I mean, I write about presidents, and I write about celebrities, and I write about heads of state, and I write a little bit about romances and so on. But I think what's made the book work is that people can relate to it. And also trying to find some balance. And I think men, you know, are you married?
No.
No, so you don't have children?
I'm like you, divorced.
Okay, do you have children?
No.
You see, I'm doing the interview. But if you did, you would know that trying to find the balance between career and marriage and children is tough and something that a lot of us have been looking for all our lives.
Now, when Barbara Walters became the nation's first female nightly news co-anchor, it actually turned into somewhat of a professional failure.
And at the same time, Saturday Night Live's Gilda Radner lampooned Walters with a now famous or infamous impression. And at first, Walters didn't like it.
Well, at the time that I was this great failure, Saturday Night Live was on, and Gilda Radner did this impersonation of me called Baba Wawa.
Hello, this is Barbara Wawa here to say farewell. This is my last moment on NBC. I want to remind you to look for me along with Harry Wiesner weeknights at 7 o'clock.
And I really didn't like it. I was hurt. With everything else, I had to be Baba Wawa. And it was my daughter, my little daughter, who said, "Mommy, lighten up. Where's your sense of humor?" So I thought, okay, if everybody's laughing, I should too. And when I finally did meet Gilda, and she did her impersonation of me, turns out we had the same makeup person at NBC who taught her how I sat and what I did. And she died much too young of ovarian cancer. And I wrote to Gene Wilder after her death and said, she made me laugh. I will miss her. And I signed it Baba Wawa. And there are still people today I will hear say, there's Baba Wawa. And you know what? I don't like it. But I laugh.
True story. I was riding up an elevator 2 days ago, and I had your book in my hand, and a guy in the other corner of the elevator looked at me, looked at the book, and whispered, Baba Wawa.
Yeah, well, you know, look at how many years ago that was. So I have to smile at it. You know, it's, I guess if imitation is a great form of flattery, then boy, am I ever flattered, right?
Well, your daughter...
And it's that.
Total class act.
Yes, absolutely. And that's what carried her through her amazing
Yes.
career.